In 60 days, I lost 10.2 pounds and several inches from my waist, hips, and thighs. But during this past week, my husband had a medical emergency and I ended up here. I already shared what happened during the first 30 days of my 90-day rebuild. So today I am breaking down days 31 through 60, my nutrition, my workouts, my current measurements, and the results that honestly surprised me. If you're new here, I'm Sarah Heilman. After losing 65 pounds, I became a personal trainer and nutrition and health coach. And today I help people build realistic, sustainable habits so that they can feel stronger, healthier, and step off the sidelines of their own lives. Regardless if you're using a GLP-1 or not, weight loss can be a byproduct of all of the work that I do. But it's not the only measure of progress. And right now, I am documenting my own 90-day rebuild. I have another DEXA scan scheduled at the 90-day mark of this rebuild. So hit subscribe if you want to see my final results and the 1-year body composition comparison. Since I already covered the first month of my 90-day rebuild, the habits I'm reviewing today are from the second 30 days. But these measurements compare the beginning of my current rebuild to where I am now at the 60-day mark. I started at 164.8 pounds, and at this check-in, I weighed in at 154.6 pounds. That puts me down 10.2 pounds after 60 days, or about 6.2% of my starting body weight. My waist went from 40.5 inches to 38 inches. My hips went from 43.25 inches to 40.5. I lost 3.25 inches from my left thigh and 2.75 inches from my right thigh. My bicep and forearm measurement were largely maintained, which is encouraging because my goal is not to simply make the number on the scale smaller. My goal is to reduce body fat while maintaining or even putting on muscle and gaining strength. My shoulder measurement actually came back 1.5 inches higher, but I'm not assuming that means I gained much size. Lubin, my husband, normally takes my measurements, but as he started to feel unwell, I needed to finish them. So tape placement, posture, or just normal human error could have affected them in some way. But I'm looking at the overall trend rather than treating every number as perfectly precise. These results surprised me because my nutrition did not feel as consistent as I wanted it to be. But when I looked at the actual data, I realized the month had been better than the story I had been telling myself. Across the full 4 tracked weeks from the second month, I averaged approximately 130 grams of protein, 196 grams of carbs, 47 grams of fat, and 26 grams of fiber every day. Protein continued to be one of the easiest habits for me to manage, and water was fairly consistent as well, with the exception of this past week when the emergency began. Fiber felt less consistent for me, but those numbers showed that I averaged between 25 to 28 grams of fiber during those 4 weeks. Again, my perception of how I had done was worse than the actual data. Where I struggled more was with how satisfying some of my meals felt. I unexpectedly received a purple carrot delivery, but I hadn't selected the specific meals I wanted. So I received things like plant-based hot dogs and plant-based sashimi bowls. The meals were genuinely delicious, and this is not about those foods being bad, but they were lower in protein, higher in fat, smaller in volume, and just different from the large, high volume meals I normally prefer. Because I didn't want the food to go to waste, I felt like I had to eat those meals, even though they weren't necessarily what I wanted. And I noticed myself craving sweet and salty foods more so than I had in a long time. I can't say those meals directly caused the cravings, but I do think feeling less satisfied, having less food volume, and feeling like I had lost some choice over what I was eating all played a role. It reminded me that enjoying how a meal tastes and actually feeling satisfied by that meal are not always the same thing. My strength training wasn't perfect, but it was consistent enough to keep me moving forward. During the first week of the second month, I completed 3 strength trainings, and then the next week, I actually completed 2. The third week, I completed 3 strength workouts, and then this past week, when the emergency began, I completed 1. That gave me 9 strength sessions between days 31 and 60 of my 90-day rebuild. Throughout the weeks, I also aimed for 2 low-intensity days of anywhere between 20 to 45 minutes on my walking pad. Going into the final week of the 60-day check-in, I thought the biggest part of this update would be figuring out whether my imperfect nutrition had slowed my progress. Then everything took a turn. My husband experienced a medical emergency and he's still in the hospital. Instead of filming this update in the way that I had originally planned, I've been sitting beside him and just waiting for answers. When I haven't been at the hospital, I've been doing what I can to take care of our daughter, to manage our 3 businesses, to keep up with our home, and just to hold everything together and functioning on very little sleep. There have been moments where I have felt overwhelmed. There have been moments where I have broken down crying. And there have been moments where workouts and nutrition and filming and this entire rebuild no longer felt important. I'm not sharing this footage to make the emergency the focus of this video. I am sharing this because this is what the final week of my 60-day rebuild has actually looked like. But this past week, it does not erase the rest of the month. I had been judging my progress by how imperfect everything felt instead of looking at what I had actually done. I still completed 9 strength workouts. I continued prioritizing protein. My fiber was more consistent than I realized, and I drank my water. I walked when I could, and I made progress, even though every meal and every week has not gone according to plan. This is what sustainable habits are supposed to do. They aren't there to make your life more rigid. They give you something familiar to return to when life becomes unpredictable. Whether you're using a GLP-1 or not, one difficult meal or even one incredibly difficult week will not erase the work you've already done. For the final 30 days of my 90-day body rebuild, I'm not going to punish myself. I'm not going to dramatically cut food. I'm not going to try to make up for this past week. My husband and my family need to be my priority right now. As life allows, I'll return to the basics. Prioritizing consistent protein, at least 25 grams of fiber every day, satisfying high-volume meals, strength training, walking, water, and as much sleep as I can realistically get. The goal is not perfection. It is having habits I can return to when I have the capacity. At the 90-day rebuild mark, I have another DEXA scan scheduled. This scan will be taken approximately 1 year after my postpartum DEXA scan, which will give me a clear 1-year comparison of how my body composition has changed. The postpartum scan showed 170.6 pounds of total mass, 65.4 pounds of fat mass, and 99.7 pounds of lean mass. My upcoming scan will show my fat mass, my lean mass, and my overall body composition and how that has changed in the past year, including the 2 rebuild phases that I've gone through, as well as my stints in physical therapy. I'll share that complete comparison in my 90-day body rebuild update, so make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. And if stress, travel, family responsibilities, or an unpredictable season has pulled you out of your normal routine, I have linked my out of routine workout guide in the description below to help you keep moving forward without needing a perfect schedule. This past week may have changed the plan, but it did not erase the progress. Please keep my family in your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next one.